I think a lot of times what happens is, we get stuck in the past and we relive it over and over again. We get on that treadmill and can't get off.
When we join the military, there's so much pride that's instilled in you, but there are also things that you do that haunt you day in and day out. If you've ever seen those displays where a drop of water slowly erodes a huge stone, and the drop of water just keeps hitting the stone and slowly continues to eat away at that boulder, it does the same thing for your soul.
You're coming home to a whole different world.
I was so shamed by what had happened to me.
I started to connect with these horses. We don't breathe. My name is Robert Drake. Joined the military when I was 20 years old. Served in the Marine Corps in the infantry from 1998 to 2002.
My impression of the Army was terrifying. I felt brave enough to take a risk and also do something bigger than myself.
For me, service represented a way to get my education and also see the world. Because I came from a very big family with a single mother, college was not something we could afford.
With the Army, it gives you a direct role of what to play. You have formation, you have a time, you have discipline.
I was always willing to sacrifice myself, and I always thought it was for a noble, greater purpose. We are asked to do horrible things, and we do things that we're not proud of.
While I was on the MRS land, I had a sexual assault happen. For me, that was very life-changing. It caused me to shut down emotionally. The person I went to told me, just ignore it. He acts that way to everybody. You'll be fine. He doesn't go that far. And unfortunately, she was wrong about that. I felt like I was the weakest, cowardly person ever. The one person in my life that made a huge difference was my boyfriend. He made my life worth living while I was there, and also gave me the escape I needed because we ended up getting pregnant. And I was able to leave the ship and leave my attacker. I had literally been told over and over again I was useless, I was a waste of space, I was not serving up to the commitment that I had signed up for. It changed that happy person that wanted to see the world into this shell of a human being that was just struggling every day to survive.
My husband said it best, coming home is like moving to a whole new world. I actually remember the first time he got back from deployment, I took him to go buy a pair of shoes, and he got very overwhelmed. But he hadn't had to make a decision in 9 months on his own.
When I returned home from Afghanistan, home was a bottle. First home was a bottle of alcohol and a whole lot of beer cans. It progressed to different narcotics because everything was peaceful, but nothing felt peaceful. Because when things feel peaceful, that's when things go sideways.
You come home and you are alone. That is very scary. Once I got out, I didn't talk to somebody for 4 years. I just drank. I just drank. I just drank. And I thought that was my therapy. I kind of felt like a failure in the Army. If you don't go overseas or if you don't go on tour, what did you actually do? Why didn't I get deployed? Why didn't I go anywhere? Why didn't I do anything special? Why didn't I die when, she died? You just can't help but feel bad.
Before I came to Hooves, I was literally days away from taking my own life. I had no purpose, I had no mission, and I didn't care about myself, I didn't love myself. I had suicidal ideation, I had a plan, I had intent, and I was gonna ride my motorcycle into an oncoming semi-truck because I knew me going 126 miles an hour into a semi-truck going 80 miles an hour, I was done.
I was tired of living a life that wasn't what I wanted. And I was tired of being the failure that I felt I had become. Suicide felt like my only hope. It felt like the only thing I could do to end the pain that I was feeling at the time. I made the decision to kill myself after my last child graduated high school. My determination was once my youngest child graduated, I was just done. I was gonna give up and find a road that I could drive off of and end things. That was my plan.
My best friend who I served in the military with called me up randomly and he's like, hey, I'm going to Hooves and I'm working with horses for a week. And I thought he was absolutely crazy. Dude, you're from Michigan. You don't deal with horses. None of your life has been about horses.
I got an email from a friend. Hey, I thought you might want to check this out. And the email was an invitation to a stress management class at Hooves. I never expected that it would work. I honestly walked in the door thinking, this is it. This is my last chance to change anything, but it's not gonna work. How are horses gonna help me heal?
Equine assisted learning is all ground-based. There's no riding involved. Our horses in particular are also rescued horses, so they have all had some kind of trauma.
Somehow I got to this place, Forever Amber Acres. I'm sorry. I, of course, didn't know what to expect. I've never dealt with horses ever. To be frank, I was out there for about a half hour before I even got within 10 feet of them. I was terrified.
My intent was not to truly work with the horses. I was gonna come here, I was gonna sit in the background and I was gonna spend a week with my best friend and I was gonna go home and take my life. And then I started to connect with these horses.
We start our Wednesday morning with our meditation with horses. He put his chair outside the circle, kind of far away from everyone else. And one of the horses just walked up to him and put their head in his chest.
I would go out into the pasture and I would get down and I would pet the horse and I would breathe, and it was the first time I really started to breathe.
And I watched him take a full breath. And I think that might have been the first full breath that he had taken in a really long time.
We don't breathe. And making that connection with the horse, that allowed me to start to breathe. And as soon as I started to breathe, all of these walls and these barriers I put up started to come down. And it was through the work with the horses.
You have to release what you're holding on to when you're around the horses. None of the horses wanted to be near me. They stayed completely away from me. I had to drop the fake smile and the pretend mask that I was wearing in order to get any interaction. Horses saw through all of those fake smiles, all of that I'm okay, and the minute that I let down my guards It's like they just encircled me in this group of love, like, okay, that's you, that's your true person.
These horses have been through trauma. So somebody dedicated their lives to healing these horses. But then we relate because as a veteran, you've been through trauma as well. They feel like another person, like a battle buddy. You know what I mean?
At the end of my 5-day intensive, not only did I want to live, I had found a purpose. After working with the horses, I've found love for myself.
I walked in a complete and total mess, and 5 days later, I walked out a completely different person with a dream, with goals, with a plan. I had no more suicidal ideation. I was ready to start living my life.
The saddest thing is I don't want to think about where I would be without these horses. Humans need horses and horses need humans.
Zoetta stands firmly behind veterans and their families, supporting their well-being not only through direct commitment, but by partnering with Horses for Mental Health to invest in organizations that incorporate horses to help them heal. There is support. You are not alone. There is always somebody that will be in your corner.
It only takes 10 seconds without hope to think about taking your life. If you're one of those people who have lost hope, please find an equine program.
So if you're watching this, or if you're hearing this, and you're a veteran, or a first responder, or a caretaker, or child of a veteran who has experienced trauma or PTSD, there is help and there is hope. Take the time, reach out. The worst that can happen is you heal, right? It's not going to be easy, but think of all the things you've done in your life that aren't easy, and you're still here right now at this moment. Keep that moment going.